Breezy. It's business time.
How can you ensure that every entity in the booking process
works together rather than as separate factions?
Utmost communication from the initial dialogue is the most important feature of booking. I think the more assets each party can put up sooner than later, such as ad mats, stage plots, advances, eventually all the information that anyone will need will become commonplace as you book shows, whether it's at a dive bar or 1,000 capacity venue. All the faculties of shows will be similar. You'll still need to discuss backline. Are the band sharing the drums? Is hundreds of dollars being eaten from the final cost for those sorts of things? How are people being compensated? And I think, speaking to the artist, if you can arm a venue with as much information as possible, a stage plot, all of your needs, technical and otherwise, what you expect from a venue as far as posting and promotion, it really just helps everyone stay on top of things. Most importantly, who's doing what. I think oftentimes it's like that Spider-Man meme where everyone points fingers at each other. And if we're not sure of who's finding local support, who's making a poster, who's making an event page, the answer is probably nobody. That's the biggest problem. Just making sure that everyone knows their roles and how best they can ensure it's a good night for everybody, not just one party.
I agree with Richard on this one. Right at the beginning, and I learned this in school actually, the beginning, the communication norms getting set is a really big deal. If you tell everyone in the beginning we're doing email, you tell everyone we're in a text group or whatever it is, stick to that. Larger files and stuff start becoming a little tricky, but have a place for that too, a shared Google Drive or whatever. But also the reason why it needs to be good is because stuff needs to be done on time, not shit. If there's no form of communication, then you're like, well, did I tell this person by this time that I need this, or did I say I would have this by this time? Did I tell them that I'm waiting on this? But if the communication norms are already there, probably don't even have to tell people what you're waiting on because they either already know or you already got it done. To ensure that, start at the beginning, make sure that everyone's on the same page. If you need to be a leader, and this will come up a lot, if you need to be a leader and say something dumb on that communication norm at the beginning just to show everyone that it's being used, don't be afraid to do that because it's just sometimes sociology says everyone needs to see someone else doing it. So be a little bit of a leader in that instance and you'll see how much stuff gets done for sure. Another thing is having upfront expectations and deliverables. That makes your communications actually useful. Even if you do have everyone on the same page, if you guys aren't upfront about the expectation on when something should be done by when or when everyone's going to go hard or pull back, be realistic about those expectations. And a way to be realistic is you miss a first deadline, that's a bad sign. Stop what you're doing and look at everything. Not get it together after the third one.
From the get-go, establishing communication norms is email the best way of getting things done. Oftentimes, phone call is best for keeping both parties from exchanging 20 emails, 15 text messages, etc. When you get into maybe 300 cap and onboard venues, when they communicate, it's often in advance from maybe the first email. Here's what your set time's going to look like. There's a TBA on the opener. Here's your gross potential. We only do versus deals. Communicating the money as close to the initial dialogue is important. Like I said, how you're going to be communicating. Any deadlines are important to mention. I think if oftentimes both parties have different expectations for what the other party is going to do as far as promotion's concerned, I think addressing that perfectly fine for a band to have in their rider that a venue will post twice, and we'll get into this later. You providing those assets for the venue makes their lives a little bit easier. But again, a venue should also communicate, we expect the band to post X amount of times, to maybe have a proximity clause to ensure their draw, whatever it may be. Really, communication's king.